Hello students, this is your mentor Riddhi, and in today's video we'll be talking about 60 days to SLAT. Now what do we mean by this? Basically, Symbiosis Law aptitude test is just 60 days away, and there are a lot of tips and tricks and some last minute revision methods and mechanisms that you must remember. Now why do I say all of these things? Because a lot of you are in this dilemma that how do I juggle between my board's examination and my upcoming exams. But don't worry, this video will help you out in all of these things. So let's get into it. Now, before I get into any of the tips or tricks, it's important for us to see the paper pattern. Unlike your CLAT and ALET exam, this exam is only for 60 marks and that too for 60 minutes. There is no negative marking whatsoever in this examination. Now, what do we mean by this? Each section carries 12 marks and each section has 12 questions to it. So, please be aware of all of these things. Now, let's get into your tips, or let's get into the depth of how to crack this exam. Coming to the first one, what does this say? Make a schedule. Now, what do we mean? Unlike your schedule that you make for time-based, it is important for you to make this time a schedule which is task-based. So, once you complete this task, only then you will move to the other one. And these have to be in between, or whenever you're doing these tasks, there has to be an amount of seriousness that is attached. Now, why do I say all of these things? We have very less time, and to acquire or to get the most of it, you must be aware of the fact that your syllabus is XYZ and your topics should also corroborate or should be similar to this XYZ idea. Okay, so make sure that you're making a schedule which is task based and not time based. Coming to the second one, what does this say? Read newspaper every day. Now, preferably I say this to a lot of students. Make sure that you read The Hindu. In case if that is not available, no problem. You can go ahead and read out other papers, but make it a point that you're reading news on daily basis. Not only your, not only your current affairs material, but also static is something that comes for this exam. So please be aware of these things and be aware of the idea that the exam will have questions based on current affairs as well as on static GK. Moving ahead, what are we seeing? The third one talks about devote sufficient time for practice. And as you can see in the picture, the second picture shows some consistency, but the result or the final result comes in the third picture. What is the third one? Where you're reaching your destination, where you're reaching your goal. And as we have learned over the years, practice makes one perfect. Now, how does that happen? You have to regularly practice. You have to regularly practice understanding different difficulty levels of the SLAT examinations. Go along and, try to search out for questions that were there in the previous year, previous to previous year, the predicted questions for this year, and understanding all of these things, have various combinations and practice for your examination on the basis of all of these things. Moving ahead, what are we seeing? Time management. Now, time management is one of the most important ideas or one of the most important things to remember while you are preparing for your SLAT examinations. Your time management. Now, what does this say? You are supposed to allocate sufficient time for each of the section based on different proficiency. What do we mean by proficiency? Your command or your excellence in that specific subject. Now, why is that important? As I told you, 60 minutes, 60 question, every section is of 12 marks. Now, what do we mean by all of these things? A lot of times you tend to lose or you tend to waste a lot of time in the areas where you are not that good. And because of that, the places where you're actually very good, you tend to lose marks over there. So, make sure that you're completing the targets first and then going to the platforms or then going to the sections where you have a low level of proficiency. Okay, coming to the next one. What are we seeing here? Develop your writing skills for the VAT round. Symbiosis or SLAT examination is the only way or only examination where you're seeing that you have VAT, that is writing ability test, and PI, that is personal interview. You must be aware of these things and you have to prepare yourself for these examinations. Now, these examinations are in a matter or in a manner that your thoughts have to be well structured. You should have fluency, and there are certain writing mechanisms that you must be aware of. Make sure that well in advance you are prepared for these things. Coming to the last part of tips or last part of strategies, what are we seeing? Now, this last part is something that I've divided as per every section. Now, talking about this, what are we seeing? Subject-wise preparation tips. The first one is analytical reasoning. Now, there are certain things that I have added or certain topics that I have added for you to go through while you are preparing for your SLAT examination. Now, talking about analytical reasoning, we are seeing topics like heights and distance, syllogism or number system or the agreement and disagreement, volume surface area, advanced algebra and probability. These are certain things that you must be aware while you are preparing for analytical reasoning. The next one is GK. Now, when I try to talk about GK, there are certain important. Now, GK here means static GK. Current affairs GK is something that I had discussed in one of my earlier tips. Coming back to this, GK here means static GK, and talking about static GK, what are we seeing? You must cover the topics such as geography, history, political science, economics, that is GS, and other important things or other important static information with regards to sports, with regards to basic environment or basic India. Now coming to the next one, that is the logical reasoning section. Now this section is specially designed to monitor and evaluate the analytical and interpretational skills. Likewise, it is to understand the capabilities to solve the comprehension based passages that come or questions that come for your examination. So keep yourself aware of these things as well. Coming to the next one, the reading comprehension. Reading comprehension is one of the another topics that is there or another section that is there for your examination. Now for this section, it is important for you to to strategize or to have a correct approach in order to read, in order to understand, and in order to answer the right things. Coming to the last part of the final bonus, that is legal reasoning section. Now, as you all know, legal reasoning, unlike other exams also, or like other sections also, has a mix of multiple topics. Now, what are these topics? For this exam, what are we seeing? Legal reasoning topics that have generally been observed is family law, criminal law, contracts, law of torts, other is constitutional law, international law, and other miscellaneous laws. So keep yourself aware of these things. Coming to the last part, I have some exciting news for you all. Like for the students who are not enrolled or who are not a part of the IMS family, this exciting news is specifically for you all. We are starting with a new batch in the coming month. And for other details, you can check out the description or you can connect to us at our nearest center. Coming to the last part, I request you all to not only like, share and subscribe to the channel, but also drop down in the comment section. What other videos do you want us to prepare and how did you find this video? I'll see you in the next reel and next video. Till then, bye-bye, take care and all the best.